Hey guys, Victor here. Before we get started with today's episode, I'd like to officially announce that Tech Heads is on Patreon, where you can support the show for as little as $5. It is absolutely not expected of any of you guys to do so, but we really appreciate every penny. This goes towards helping us with the cost of gear, editing, distribution, and keeping us caffeinated. So if you want to show your support, feel free to check us out on patreon.com/techheads. Now on with the show. Tech Heads back again. This time, we're bringing you an episode we totally forgot we even did. And honestly, I wasn't planning on mentioning it to you guys. Sorry. But you would have caught us red-handed, so there's that. Yeah, there were just too many inconsistencies. But anywho, this time, we talked about Django, the movie, and the framework. We also get into books, Bill Murray, old school Apple headphones, and accidentally leaving the camera on during meetings. This
4, 3,
is Tech Heads.
2, 1. So, here we go.
How you all feel tonight?
Tech Heads back again. We're doing a crazy special episode today. We're talking about Django.
Django.
Have you seen that Quentin
I love
Tarantino
that
movie?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I was just gonna say we're talking about Django Unchained.
Yeah.
The movie's great.
That's when I knew, like, okay, Quentin Tarantino's on something else. Like, just
Right.
so good. I ever since I've loved his movies and like gone backwards and watched most of the classics and kept up with every new one and stuff.
Yeah. We recently just watched Kill Bill 1 and 2 because I hadn't seen it in so long.
Oh yeah.
So that was cool. But my all-time favorite of his is Inglourious Bastards. That one is just I love watching that movie.
Same. I could watch
So
that one
good.
every day, honestly.
Yeah.
Christoph Waltz
Yeah.
absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, flawless.
Yeah, my favorite scene is when they're all in the basement playing the card game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about. I don't want to give any spoilers away, but like the
No, I mean, I haven't seen it in a long time, but is that, well, that's not towards the beginning, like where he inspects that house, right? Like when they find the.
I mean, it's like the same thing almost, but they're like in the basement playing a card game, and oh my gosh, what is his name? Anyway, he's pretending to be German, I think. He's impersonating a German soldier, but he gets suspected that he's impersonating a German soldier because he orders 3 drinks, I think, but he goes like this instead of like this, and I guess like Germans would do 3 like this versus like that. So they're mid card game, and you know all hell breaks loose, obviously. So, but yeah, it was a really good scene. Yeah, awesome director. Did you see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Yes, I love that one too.
A lot of people didn't like it, and I understand.
Oh,
But
I thought it was great.
I loved it. It, like, I don't know, I like that time period, like the late 60s. Like West Coast late 60s. I love that like historical timeline, especially like Manson stuff, and
Yeah.
it's insane.
That was really cool. I remember I got the Blu-ray from Redbox. I mean, I haven't like rented anything from Redbox in a long time. But when that one came out, I got it, and I think I watched it twice before I returned it, like, you know, in 24 hours, just because that the one scene, you know, I also don't want to give too much away, but like the one scene towards the end, oh, I loved it. I thought it was so good. So I couldn't get enough of it. I could probably watch it again sometime soon. It's
They
great.
did such a good job with it. He did such a good job. And he just released the book version of it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, like a novel version
Nice.
of it.
Yeah.
You would probably
Cool,
like
cool.
it. I don't know. You don't have time to read. What am I talking about?
No, honestly, that's funny that you brought it up because I was just recently thinking that I wanted to find like something to read for fun, like just before bed without really having like, a deadline on anything, just reading whatever I could before falling asleep. But I haven't really found like a book that I want to read,
I got a book just for you.
Atomic Habits.
Everybody's reading this book right now, and
Really?
yeah, I recommend it. I'm not done with it, but I like it so far. I feel really productive when I read it. So
Oh, that's
yeah.
good. Yeah, I'll check it out. I bought a book on Amazon and I started reading it, but I thought it was a little too dense. I don't know. I'll give it a chance. Like I'll give it a second try some other time. But I thought that for like before bed, it wasn't really that kind of, it wasn't that kind of book.
Mm.
But I have something by my like on my bedside table or on, on the what's it called, headboard. The one of those no starch press books, Python
Oh
crash
yeah,
course, I think it was. I
yeah.
just liked looking at some of the little examples on there, like stepping through the code, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of nice because I felt like it's light reading, and but it's um can kind of like, oh, I can, pick up like a few things here and there that I didn't maybe notice during a tutorial or a class that I took or whatever. So yeah, that one was cool. But I have been feeling like reading a comedy book because I mean, there's just nothing better than like laughing when you're reading a book. I'm getting a little sick of like trying to find the TV shows or movies to watch. So I'm looking for, a good comedy book, like a really funny one.
Well, if you find
So
one,
we'll
let me
see.
know because that would be something I'd be down to read. I'm
Yeah.
sure. I don't know. It's not really a funny book. I just thought of it because he is really funny. But there's this Bill Murray book called The Tao with Bill Murray, and it's
Mhm.
all like it just tells like his legendary stories that it's almost like lore, but it's a book full of those
Yeah.
stories about Bill Murray and how like he'll just like show up to parties and like do the dishes and then leave, like stuff like that, just bizarre
Uh,
wackadoodle.
um,
Great stories though, and like I don't know, I actually got some inspiration from it, like to be a little more confident and not be too worried about what other people think. But
yeah.
yeah, but I'm still really bad at that, so I might have to read it again. Because this whole quarantine just like brought me back down to like to the starting point basically, and I'm not even good at meeting new people anymore.
No, no. I mean, honestly, like it's been almost like 2 years that this whole thing started. Like
Yeah.
social skills. I feel like it's just like a skill. If you don't use it, you kind of like have to polish them up after like being so long. Like being far away. Because I mean, at my job, for instance, I think. I have like a meeting with my manager once a week and I turn my camera on to see him, but everybody else that I have calls with throughout the week don't even see the people. It's just, voice calls. So yeah, it's interesting. And I haven't been, I mean, just, heard back from we're gonna be postponing return to work until November now. So I don't know, it's like longer to stay away from, I think, having any contact with people, but I don't mind it so much. Obviously, we make a lot of friends via our dog. That's like the biggest icebreaker, I feel like.
It
So
is, yeah.
it's kind of fun, but yeah, no, I'll definitely let you know if I come across, like a funny book. I've read a few in the past, but I'm doing a little more research and I'll probably like read some samples and, if it gets me, then I'll order it and then I'll let you know. We can talk about it on, future episodes too.
Oh, please, let's do it. We could do.
We didn't
Oh
see any
shit!
significant changes in the user metrics.
All right, I gotta show you this video. It just made me think of. You mentioned how like you don't turn the camera on for some, or you turn on the camera on, but some people don't.
His setup is just crazy.
Yeah, because he has the PC and Mac setup.
Right.
But I think we should leave it for a week to get more data. Other than that, We talked to legal about the other work stream, and it seems like they're backlogged, so they would have to revisit it to Q4. So we're blocked on that. Joma, do you have any updates on the infra work?
Nope. No updates for me.
Okay. Yeah, Steve, do you have anything you want to add to what we just said?
Sorry about that. Had to do something.
It's possible we change it to a bi-weekly.
Oh yeah?
instead of a
Well, I
weekly.
f***ed your mom last night.
Sorry, Joma, what did you say?
Yeah, I actually saw that video I don't know, 2 days ago, and I thought it was brilliant because I was like, oh my God, the time. Like I mean, I'm pretty honestly, like when I am taking a work call, I don't really do anything else. Unless I don't know, like it's pressing or like someone knocks on the door or whatever, but I try not to let anything like that happen because I feel like it's too frequent at this point to people that have been caught doing other things or saying things when they forgot to mute themselves during online class or whatever.
Yeah.
Or work. Though it's even worse of what he said, can you imagine? Oh my God.
Yeah, actually, maybe 2 weeks ago, for the most part, like when we do department meetings and stuff like that, the cameras are off usually, except for the person presenting something or whatever. And then for like our team meetings, we'll have the cameras on, because we interact with each other every day, and it's like nice to like all interact together on one specific day because we're on different time zones. But anyway, there was a department meeting where usually no cameras at all, but there was one dude, and he had his camera on the whole time, but he had no idea, I think. But like nothing bad happened. He just like if he didn't know, which I don't think he did, because literally it's like if one person has their camera on in Teams and everybody else's is off, then like you're the only person on the screen and you take up the whole screen. Right. So like obviously but like I don't know, maybe he wasn't paying attention. Who knows? But I mean, luckily he's a great employee. He just was taking notes, like watching the screen and like interacting the whole time. Like great guy. But it was just funny because like I could picture somebody maybe like doing exactly what Jumbo was doing, just video gaming or whatever.
Yeah, right. Or like in your underwear, I don't know, something,
exactly,
that could be embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's a funny guy. I like his videos.
Same. Yeah, they're relatable. He needs to do one on more techie stuff soon, because he hasn't really done too much development stuff lately. I think he's been doing more like vlog stuff because he moved to New York, which is cool and nice to watch. But I don't know, like his old stuff I would actually learn from, like building a full stack app. Remember he did one with his phone, like he developed it all from his phone. Oh my
gosh. Yeah, I was just rewatching that like 2 days ago, because after he released this 30-second video, I checked out his channel and I was like, oh, I really want to watch that one that he did it on his phone, because that was cool. I mean, it was like full stack, So I was like, checking it out to like see what it is that he was using specifically. Stack, right? It was mean, but I think he said that he was using what was it, like a AWS server, obviously because he needed an operating system, so it was Ubuntu, so he could code in it, but he was like that's where I think I came across that the app to SSH into your server from your iPhone called Termius. I think I tried it out, but then it was like a paid service. So it was cool. I think I did like try it out with my personal computer, and that was a cool one. And I don't know, like if he used something else. It was like Termius to SSH into the server, and then he would code on there, and Heroku to deploy it. Yeah, that's right. So that was a pretty cool thing. I mean, I'm sure that it took quite a little while to get it done on the phone because of the screen. But when he broke out the Bluetooth keyboard, I was like, now he's gonna get this done.
Yeah, because I think he messed up his fingers and he had to go to the doctor.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, you know, earlier in the year, I felt like I was kind of like having an issue. Luckily it wasn't permanent, but for like about a week or two, my like my the joints on my hand, you know, like my fingers, they were so sore. I don't know if it was like the weather or whatever, but I was like, oh geez. I mean, it sucks because I mean, you know, as a developer, what do you do if you can't click or type or whatever, you know? Can only like do so much with like a, I don't know, a pen and paper. So
Could you imagine?
you can only do planning. You can't really like bring anything to fruition. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh, no
kind of
thanks. Hope that doesn't happen. I do like get my pinky because like on Windows the like I've you know obviously the you use the control button which is a little farther this way versus like the command button you can kind of get it with your thumb.
Yep.
So like when I'm copying and pasting or whatever, it's like I don't know. I copy and paste a lot. Let's put it that way. But not like I'm cheating, but you know, I'm taking from
Right.
like old stuff or like a template or whatever, and I'm putting it in a new project for work. And yeah, if I'm doing a lot of copying and pasting, like my pinky starts to actually kind of like stiff up a little bit. I'm like, I can't copy and paste. Ugh.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like the Windows keyboard is not as functional, you know, like with the shortcuts for how frequent like, you know, control C and control V. Like, I mean, that's like one of the, you know, most basic and probably like one of the most highly used shortcuts on the keyboard. And I feel like it's not like you said the command, you know, like on the Mac keyboard, it's much easier, I think, based on
Yeah.
how our hands are, you know. So but I don't know if it's easy to like change that the shortcut, or I mean, I think
like
you
change the
probably can.
mapping.
I don't know though yet, because it's like, you know, an operating system like, you know, features. So
Maybe.
you might be able to like override it. I don't know. I'll look into it. That's
Yeah.
actually a good idea.
I might
need
do
to
that
remember to
too
do
because
that.
now I'm using you know PC stuff more. So even when I move to Mac for like some stuff after work, I'm like screwing everything up and like accidentally deleting things, and I'm like, oh, I forget it's the Mac now. So
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I love my Mac keyboards though. I feel like it's just an extension, you know. And then with the Windows keyboard, sometimes I have to look down and I'm like, oh, okay, it's control, it's not command. So yeah, just living the Windows dream.
Yep. All right. Well, maybe we should get into some Django. Hope we don't get flagged for that.
Django. Yeah, let's do it. To love
Yeah.
Django.
All right. Well, this was Anna's request, and I was so stoked that she wanted to do it because I honestly had never used it before, and I wanted to, you know, get my hands a little dirty and do a small little tutorial or a walkthrough with it soon. And I started one a few days ago and have been working on it here and there. And so far, I've been really enjoying like the workflow of it, which you know, it's not much different than another framework, but I don't know, just the fact that it's maybe because it's Python and I love Python, but I'm using a framework with it. I think it's so cool. Well, I guess before we continue to even like talk about it as if everybody knows what it is, maybe we should quickly define what it is first.
Yeah, let's do it.
So Django is a server-side framework for building web apps with Python. And it's not to be confused with something like Vue that we discussed last week, which is another framework. But Vue, like React and Angular, are front-end frameworks. But with Django, it's server-side, so it's all back-end. And its main appeal is the ease at which you can actually create super complex and database-driven web apps. Big companies like Instagram, Dropbox, Udemy, Spotify, Pinterest, it's what they use. According to a variety of sources, they use Django, and I can see why, because like I said, I haven't really used it too much before this week, but my short time with it has been super fun. I like everything about it so far, and even like debugging has been really nice. I've never really truly debugged in VS Code. I just Google what's going on, but debugging is cool. And then like I haven't really had many errors yet. And I don't know, maybe the only one I got was initially installing, and it was just a super quick Google and easy peasy.
Right.
So Anna, tell us your experience with Django and how you got into it and everything.
Yeah, for sure. So back in the spring, I was taking an intro to software development class. So that was like a project long semester that we had to work as a group. And obviously we had to pick a stack. And one of our guys had some experience with Django. And I was like, I have no idea, but it's Python. Okay, I'm game. So we decided to go with the Django as the backend, like you said, and we picked React as our front end. So we had to bind the two, to have the full stack web app that we were creating, which was that one children's like book and audiobook, flip books and audiobooks. It turned out pretty cool. It was simple, but we with the stack that we had, obviously there was a learning curve, mainly on the front end, honestly, because our front end guy had no experience with React, but he wanted to take on the challenge of learning, something different. So I helped him out, but it was, full credit to him. And I was mainly like interested in learning how the whole thing was going to work, like kind of like the engine under the hood with both of them functioning as the back end and the front end.
Yeah.
But obviously, we had our back end guy that has some experience with Django, and that's why we decided to go with it. But yeah, I mean, Python is near and dear to my heart. So I thought that it was very cool that, there was like you said, a server side framework that you can use, that does accommodate that preference. And then you just have to pick like whatever you want on your front end. And in the summer, I worked with Django again. And we were using, it was like a graphical framework for the front end. I think it's like a class. No, it's like a 3DS or no, not 3JS. It's a different one, honestly. I had never heard of it. I forgot the name now. Because I know that there is 3JS.
That's for
There's
like doing 3D
a couple of
modeling
like
with JavaScript.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And so I had that project, and it was pretty cool because we were using, COVID data, and we like defined routes, and within each route we were going to render different like visual representations of the data, after modifying it. And it was pretty cool. So, got a chance to use the Django again, and the setup of the second time around, because I had already done it for our project in the spring, was, much faster. So I mean, the installation really doesn't take all that long, and their documentation is great. So that's why, I vouch for Django, just like we talked about Vue. I mean, the documentation is impeccable. Like it's good for any kind of level of, development skill, really. So.
Yeah. I'm looking at the docs right now, and they welcome people that are brand new to it immediately. Like just open arms, like come on in and learn a little Django, maybe know a little basic Python. But honestly, you can just get started at a pretty basic level. And the first sentence is cool because it leads into what I want to bring up, which is the history. So the docs start with Django at a glance. And it says, because Django was developed in a fast-paced newsroom environment, it was designed to make common web development tasks fast and easy. And it goes over like an informal overview of how to write a database-driven web app with Django. And and honestly, like I don't think it could be clearer. It's so nice. It goes over the architecture of how it works and great examples, every little like component to like the steps in which you need to take to actually get started with it. Yeah, it's really nice. I do want to touch on the history a little bit on how it got started. So it was developed by these two guys named Adrian. Well, I guess it was developed by more people, but it started out with these two main guys, Adrian Hollivati and Simon Willison, back in 2003. And as they said, they were working at a newspaper called Lawrence Journal World. Oh my God. Lawrence Journal World newspaper. That is a mouthful. Oh my God. They worked there as programmers, and they were heavily using Python at the time to build a bunch of different Python apps. So they were like, we want to make something that will follow this model template view architectural pattern. So a couple years after they started developing it, they were at the point where they were ready to release it because it was so convenient and just like groundbreaking for Python. So they released it under a BSD license and named it after Django Reinhardt, the jazz guitarist, because Adrian was really into playing jazz guitar, and he obviously looked up to Django for that. So that's why it's called Django.
Oh, wow. I never looked into why they decided to go with Django. That's interesting. Cool. Good choice.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of Django Reinhardt's music?
I don't think so, but I was like, it was after a musician. Sounds good.
You may have heard it and you didn't even know. It's like
yeah, that could be it.
Old-timey jazz with like the acoustic guitars going like
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I'll definitely check it out now.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
It's like real finger wiggling music. Let's put it that way. It's nice though. It's really good and technical on the guitar. It sounds really good for the times. So yeah, Adrian was really into that, so he paid homage to Django and named his child after it with this framework. So yeah,
that's pretty cool. You can tell that it's been. When did you say that they first released it? 2000 and.
Oh, they released it in 2005 because they started. They started working on it in 2003, and it took them a couple years, I think.
You can tell that it's been around for a while in the sense of like how well it is maintained and also established, because there is no shortage of questions about Django that I came across, because I think especially with a project that we had to do back in the spring. We had a lot of dependencies, and when we ran into a bit of an issue with deployment, because we were using Heroku to deploy it, and then obviously it was Django and React and all of those dependencies, and like the file tree was just getting out of control. I was glad that we had someone that had some familiarity with it, but also a lot of support, from online community like Stack Overflow and other forums. So it's been around. That's the good thing about going, with like a framework like this, because then if you have questions, if you run into issues, then you'll most likely find the answer. It won't take you too long. But yeah.
And people regularly go over it on YouTube, like good walkthroughs. Like almost every year, I feel like there is a new one to go over, because there was maybe a little bit of an update that might change things, but nothing too drastic. But it's still super popular among YouTube developers for sure. And I definitely want to learn a lot more about it, because my short time with it so far has been really, really cool. I'm still getting used to the file names, because it comes with not as many as Vue, I would say, but when you download it, which downloading it's really easy, you run I think 2 commands in the command line, and that's basically it. I don't remember. It's like pip install pip env is like the second one, I think, but then there's one before it where it's basically you're just saying pip install Python Django or something like that.
Yeah, that's probably I think where is the installation or download? Yeah, pip install Django. And right now it looks like they're on the 3.2.7 release. And you can also an alternative is Git cloning their repository, and then there you go. You need to ensure that you have Python installed on your machine as well, preferably, something like 3.0 or above, especially because Python 2.0 is no longer, I think, maintained anyway. But yeah, that's as far as it goes. Like you can do it, you can get that installed with pip install, and then launching your or starting your project. That will be a couple more commands, but it's still not that bad at all.
Oh, I think I have a correction. So I think to install Django, it's pip env install Django.
Oh yeah, because the pip env, it starts a virtual environment. Yeah, that's what it does.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so that's right. Yeah, that's a very good idea actually to install, Django in a like a virtual environment. I think I don't know if this is like frowned upon, but I think when I did it, I might have used the global flag. So, because then I could ensure that I could start a project from anywhere in my machine and I wouldn't have to like reinstall Django. But yeah, it's yeah, probably the env is a good is a good way. And also it's a good practice when you're working with like Python projects to start, like a virtual environment.
True.
Because you're gonna get so many files. So
yeah. Have you played around with debugging in VS Code?
No, actually, that's what I was gonna ask you. I haven't used that for, I think, at least through VS Code when I had any issues with Django, because I know that once you get to the point where you've created your project and you do Python migrate.py or manage.py run server, then that should open it up on your browser. But I think I just watched the browser for like changes, because that's the thing, it's like a local, it's like a live server view of your local server. And for any changes that you make, it will update that screen on the terminal. So that's about as far as I've gone with debugging. I haven't really used any of the tools in the IDE itself.
Yeah. Well, I recommend it. It's actually, I don't know. I would do what you did, like just kind of do it on the go and like see what happens with each refresh basically, and like changing one thing at a time. But with the debugger, it's so cool because like you just go to the line number and there's a red dot that appears, and that's a breakpoint that you can make. So it'll stop there as a breakpoint, and you can. It's like a play, pause, stop set up at the top of the screen during debugging, so that you can make it execute line by line while it's running, so you can see what's going on, and then it'll tell you all the local and global variables in case like you got your scoping messed up or whatever. Yeah, it's really nice.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll have to check that out next time I give it a go. How about we go through some of the commands to like get a project started, because that's pretty straightforward too. And I mean everyone has to go through that, and the docs make it very simple. I think it's like a total of like 3 commands, and you have like your file structure.
Yeah. It's not many at all.
So yeah, I mean, we talked about pip install for Django. And so to ensure that you have it installed, go ahead and run Python, -m Django, and then -- version to ensure that you have that in your machine. You should have something, with like 3.2 or above for Django. And like I said, you have to ensure they have Python installed as well. And then if even if you're running that in a virtual environment or not, the next thing would be to do Django-admin start project all together as one word, and then whatever you want to call that project. In the docs they have my site, you can call it demo, you can call it whatever it is the subject matter that you're going to be working in. So that will immediately create a file tree for you, where you're going to have your main folder at the top, followed by, in the directory right inside is going to be the manage.py, and then another folder where you have some pretty crucial files, like the init, settings, URLs, ASGI, WSGI. And with some of those files, You might not have to do a lot. It really depends on what you're going to be, or like how you want to structure your project at least. But yeah, make sure that you don't delete any of that. You need to keep it in there. And for the urls.py, because that's where your routes are going to go. You can declare them there, but it's the best way is to follow the tutorial on djangoproject.com, where they do recommend that you create a project within within that particular, the subfolder that's within the very root folder. So you would navigate to that folder and you would run again Python manage.py start app. So instead of start project, you're going to be typing start app, and then whatever name you want to call it. That will create a couple of similar named files like the init, but then you're going to see your admin, your apps. There will be a subfolder called migrations with another init file. You don't really need to worry about that unless it really pertains to like the scope of the kind of project that you're working. And then models, tests, and views. That is where you're going to be touching a lot. The models is where you would have a class, defined, and your views. That's where it's essentially like rendering your data onto the page. So the routes would be going in that file in a few directories above that, the urls.py. And yeah, so I mean, that's pretty much, the file structure. It's hard, obviously, we're just describing it audibly, but following the documentation or like a tutorial, it makes it very, very easy to understand. And you're also going to have your views. The views are important, obviously, because those are the pages, where you're going to be, or like essentially it's it is what the name says. It's a view. So it's honestly, like you said, it seems to be a bit daunting because of all of the files, but really it's pretty well organized, because you're just going to be working with your routes, your views, your models where it applies. Maybe you want to tweak a few things in your settings.py. But once you start to add some data, or you just drop, a hello world in like one of the in the views file, following one of the I don't know, having like a print hello world or whatever. You might be able to already see it on your page when you do, Python manage.py Python manage.py run server, and it will tell you what the IP address is, of the ports. Generally, it tends to be 8,000. So you can just go to localhost 8,000 on your browser, and you'll see like at least the starter page, because I'm pretty sure that they already have like a boilerplate version, just to make sure that your setup is currently working. Otherwise, you can monitor your terminal for any errors, and debug it too using the VS Code features that you said, Victor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one thing that was a little viewy to me was maybe like taking like a hello world example here. If you did want to do like a little bit more of a complicated hello world, maybe not like the first one you would do, but you can go into your views.py file and declare a function like hello with the request parameter, and then you can within there do return render the request parameter, and then call an HTML file. You could say like hello HTML. That's what I did, and then declared, maybe name is your name, Anna, and then within your HTML file, to actually like make this dynamic, you would kind of treat it like just normal HTML. You could do like an H1 tag or whatever for this example, but then have like actual logic there using curly braces and percentages. So you can do like if name, and then with under if name, you could do like hello, and then in double curly braces, name.
Mm-hmm.
But if there is no name declared in the views.py, you would do, the curly braces else with the percentage signs, no name declared or whatever, and then you end the if after that. And that's a little bit of a more complicated example of a hello world, but it's really cool that remains dynamic like that, and like it definitely opens up a lot of possibilities as to what you can do with that. Yeah, I thought that was a little viewy, because that was like one of the first things I did with a view as well.
Yeah, and you can also, I think another good way is to, another, like a useful feature is to check out the route, which is like your, local host, and then /admin. That will take you to your admin portal that is, pre-built like with the Django framework.
Mm-hmm.
And you do have to authenticate. So you have to create like a master user. I forget now what the exact command is to make it. Do you know that one? I can't remember. I don't know. I've used it before. Here we go. So it's Python manage.py create super user, and then you're going to go through the prompts. So like you can pick, what you want the username and the password to be. And then when you go to that endpoint, your /admin, then you're going to enter that, and you'll be able to see like what the portal looks like, like what your models are. If you have defined any, otherwise, you can just like play around with it. But there's, as far as I remember, there's also like a little link on the top right corner of the screen that says view site. And that would take you like to the, to the default, or like the home route for your site, which is probably just, local, your local server port 8000.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I thought it was really cool because I know that back in the spring when we were working on a project, we had to do a few things, and obviously we had to give admin access to the person that we were handing over our project to. So that way they could log in and take a look at, like the activity and add things that would eventually be rendered on the front end. But they were the only, they were the super user. So they had access to that portal, which is cool. And so that's another useful feature of it. It pre-creates all of that for you as soon as you install Django and you start that project, and then you start your app, and then get coding. So the commands are pretty straightforward, which is another really cool thing about Django.
Yeah, I like that. It's like db dump data. Obviously it dumps the data. Migrate.
Yeah.
Start app.
Yep.
Test.
Yeah.
It's like so chill. I love it.
Yeah, I know. It's very straight to the point. Does exactly what the command says. Like if you make changes, you are going to do your Python manage.py make migrations, and then Python manage.py migrate. And then I think when you do that, then you have to restart the server. Don't quote me on that. I'm not too sure. I mean, it's also, at least it's very easy to just quit the server. Like on the Mac, it's, like Control-C, probably the same thing on Windows. And then you can run those, make migrations and then migrate after the changes that you've made on the back end, like on your files. And go ahead and, do the manage.py run server. It's going to restart the server for you. And it tends to be quick. It also depends on like how light or heavy your app is in terms of like all the, because I feel like it's kind of like, firing up an engine again. When we had the React on the front end and Django on the back end, we had to have like 2 terminal tabs because you need to make sure that like at least before we bound them, we had to start React on one end or Django on the other end. And then eventually, everything connected. But that was a little tricky with, at least for the purpose of this, like the tutorials, you should be able to, to like see just some raw text on the screen, and then you can pick whatever you want as your front end framework. I just remember that the one that I used for my project in the summer was called chart.js. That's what we used, and they had some cool visualizations. I had never heard of it prior to that project. So
Chart.js, that sounds so cool.
yeah, I know that like 3ds is a big one, and then what is the other one? 3JS? I don't know. I always get them confused.
Well, there's the Nintendo 3DS, and then there's the JavaScript 3JS, and then there's
Right. I know. Yeah, I feel like they're all super similar,
This
but
looks great. Can you use this looks beautiful. Chart.js.
it's nice, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was so cool because we had to make we ended up making templates, or rather we were given templates on how to, like, we just had to call the templates in our function. So we were mainly using, I think it was in apps.py. Yeah, if I remember correctly, it was in apps.py, or in no, it was in views.py. That's where we had like the bulk of our code, where we had all of each function for like a specific route. And then within the route, within those functions, we were calling the template, that was given to us, that was built with chart.js in mind. So we just had to like read some data from a file that we were given and pass it through that function, and then call the template to then render, that template on the route that we had defined in the urls.py. So yeah, chart.js is pretty cool. I'm pretty sure that, I think I went through their documentations as well, and they were nice. It's a cool, pretty dynamic, like a visualization, just like as some of the other, big JavaScript visualization libraries like 3JS, and then I always forget what the other one is called. Maybe I think that's what it is.
We played around with that one time, like back in the office
at work
when it was like brand new.
Yeah.
That one was cool. This is beautiful,
okay, it's D3. Okay, now I have to remember. D3. One is called 3JS and the other one is D3. Yes. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, but chart.js is nice too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going through the examples and animations and stuff. They're so cool.
Right?
So satisfying too. It's just like so quick and perfect and simple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that this one is really cool. I haven't built anything with like Django on the side, but eventually if I get into it, because I've been really into Vue, even though, life has been pretty hectic lately because of the move and all that. I would love to do, since I am on like this Formula One kick, to like maybe instead of Django, use like another, JavaScript framework with in my Vue like ecosystem, like in my project. But I could go with one of these, just so like instead of like showing things in a tabular fashion, just go with like a very cool, visualization, like graph or whatever, something that's dynamic that you can click on and that kind of stuff. So yeah, these libraries are pretty cool.
Yeah. Are you ready to talk a little bit about, because last week you mentioned that you had a little project going on and then you showed it to me off air. And I thought it was amazing what you have so far. Is there any chance you could share with the viewers a little bit about what it is, or are you going to hold off until it's a little more done?
Yeah, no, for sure. So what I decided to do is, I'm a big Formula One fan. So I decided to find out some more. I mean, I already knew that there was a public API where it's very well maintained and they upload data shortly after every race in regards to like results, championship standings.
Wait, quick thing. Isn't it non-affiliated with actual Formula One, isn't it?
Correct. Yeah. I think it's independently maintained, and I don't know to what I don't know where they're getting the data from, because there is no affiliation with like the official, Formula One organization. So But I trust the data. I think I try to look into where it is that they're sourcing it from.
Yeah. I only brought it up because it's so impressive.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But yeah, so I basically decided that I wanted to check out Vue. So I watched a YouTube tutorial that was obviously it was building like a Vue and Vue.js, framework like we talked about on a previous episode, and Tailwind CSS, to make it all look all pretty. But they were using COVID data, and I was like, no, I'm getting sick of like seeing tutorials on COVID data, so I'm gonna build my own. So I decided to go with the Formula One API, and I picked, like the driver standings as the data that I was going to render. And I'm still having a little bit of like an issue with
the logo
filtering the data down. The thing is, I unplugged my external drive. I don't have it on me right now to show you, but yeah, I have to I was having a little issue with filtering the data down with like one of the drop downs, because I think like the table renders like all of the driver's data, and then even if I clicked on one of the drop downs to filter it, it wasn't. I was getting a weird error, and I went down like a rabbit hole, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm questioning this whole thing, because based on some of the responses on Stack Overflow, I was like, maybe I did something really wrong here, or the data in a way that what I'm trying to achieve is not, possible. But I was like, there's no way. But it's been like, about 10 days, and I haven't really touched it because, was just busy with like the move and all this stuff. But I definitely want to keep building on it. And like a visualization is one of the things that I really want to work on. And I thought that it was really cool because I've always wanted to build, like side projects just for fun and for good practice and like learning a new framework. But now that I am really interested in the topic that I chose, I think that it's just like that extra push, instead of like picking something super boring, like, I don't know, related to like school that I really don't care that much about. I just want to make sure I get it done. But yeah, I love Formula One. Like there was a race today and I watched it. So, it's cool because when I do like make the project live, and the API just pulls the data automatically. So it's it's pretty cool. But once I have like more to share, or once it's deployed, because right now I'm just running it locally, I will be sure to share more.
Yeah, sounds good. Hopefully I can share something soon. I just haven't been in the mood. Besides learning new things, like that's really it. I haven't really been in the mood to actually build something after learning these new things, which is so bad because it's like that's how you learn and really like get it ingrained. So soon I would like to do something either with Vue and or Django, maybe both together. Who knows?
Yeah, no, they're pretty cool, and I think that that's why, I don't know if we do a dedicated episode on React. I don't know if we did we?
No, we didn't. I don't think so.
I think I'm pretty sure we didn't, but I think that the reason would be probably because of like the learning curve in comparison to some of like to Vue itself, That's why I remember like when we were debating for like some ideas and Vue came up, we're both like, yeah, 100% let's do it because it's so friendly for people who are starting out, and it's, I really love it. I actually, once I started doing it, I was like, oh, I really like this even more than, Django and React or whatever that I've done before. Obviously it's all about, what stack is best suited for what you're trying to do. But we can't, I think it's a bit like comparing apples and oranges, Django and Vue, it's not the same thing because Django is server side, Vue is, it's client side. So it's but with Vue, it was pretty cool. I definitely want to build like a full stack, web app, and that's probably what I'll do, end up scaling my application to, is towards like a Maven, stack,
Mhm.
Mongo, Express, Vue, and
Node.
Node. So yeah, that's I think that's the route that I want to take this instead of like, dropping this project like I've done with a few other ones that I didn't care that much about. I care more about, keep building this one, learning more about this stack and then getting really good at it. And then eventually I might even be able to like start doing some stuff at work with it, but there's always a place for Python because I love using Python.
Yeah, Python's awesome. Yeah. Do you have anything that you want to recommend?
Yeah, so I was actually I don't know if you've seen these light up like hexagons that a whole bunch of people have now on their desk setups or
No.
like battle stations. So they're kind of like panels that you stick to the wall, but they light up, so you can change colors.
Oh,
Let
that's
me
cute.
Yeah, let me see. Can I show you on my screen? I think you might have to like give me
Yeah.
permissions,
Let's
but
see.
I just found it on Wired because I was like, I wouldn't even know what to look for if I
There you go.
wanted to buy it. But okay, so it's this here. So these are like panels that I think that they come with like I don't know if they come with like an adhesive or you hang them somehow on your wall. And I think you can control like the colors that you want it to be. So I've seen like a whole bunch of, let me move like, this is what I have been seeing like everywhere on Reddit. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Because
Wow.
that's kind of like arty,
Mm-hmm.
Look at this one. This one's like
I
triangles.
see.
This one, they got even more creative. So that's really neat. It's kind
Mm.
of like, art, but it also lights up and, cool like RGBs. So yeah, I saw that. Okay, yeah. So I was looking for some towards like the end of the deal or holiday deals. So it looks like Wired had like a recommendation. So yeah, that's what I wanted to throw out there because that's something that I think is kind of cool. And they're a bit expensive, but I think that they'll probably last a little while.
Yeah.
It can even sync up with your music. That's cool.
That's like probably the fourth time we've recommended lights on this show.
I know. Meanwhile, I'm recording this and it's like
I was
pitch
gonna say
black.
I don't even see Anna. It's pitch black, but her camera's on.
I know. I know, right? Yeah, it's too funny. I'm being picky though. I want to buy something that I like now instead of, I mean, I had a desk lamp and I got that like a long time ago. So I was like, I think it's time to retire that one and go with something a little more modern. I think, I'm trying to organize things in the office and I'll take my time. I don't want to buy everything all at once, but I'm going to do a little bit of shopping, get some ideas, maybe design like what I have envisioned for my office before I start buying everything.
Amazing. If my office wasn't in the living room, I would maybe do something cool like that. But I mean, we still have the rod light in the corner.
I
And
love
then the
that.
other corner at night, it looks so sick when it's just those on. Like
Yeah.
around like midnight or whatever, maybe I'll turn on the PS5 for like 30 minutes and like make the whole
Uh,
room purple, and it's
ooh,
so nice.
ooh.
Have like a little tea or margarita, whatever is going on that night. Depends what I'm playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Right,
move for
right.
sure. But yeah, for my recommendation, I was gonna recommend Atomic Habits, but we already talked about it. That sounds lame, so I'll recommend
Hmm.
something else. I'm actually rocking the old school Apple headphone jack headphones right now, and I
Hmm.
did this because I have AirPods, but I really don't like the trouble of connecting and reconnecting to other devices all the time. And I especially don't like that the battery life on mine suck. And I don't know what it is, but they're not as loud either as other headphones. Like they're just really old now. I think they're probably like 3 years old now. So it's just like they suck, and why dish out like 150, $200 for new ones when I can just get like official Apple wired headphones. If I'm already sitting at my desk, I'm not doing anything. Like, of course, if I'm going to listen to
Yeah.
something or have a video playing while I'm like going to the kitchen or whatever, then yeah, I'll definitely use them. But it's like only if we're working out. But like, I don't know, at the desk, a wire doesn't really matter. It's just more like simple, and there's really nothing wrong that could happen using them. So I like that. Yeah, that's my recommend. And it was like $10 from Amazon, but it's the official Apple ones. Like, really good deal.
Yeah, no, I mean, sometimes, like you said, keeping it simple is like the key to happiness because you literally can unplug that and plug it into anything else and it will connect immediately. With Bluetooth, oh my gosh, how many times have I had like issues with, like I put my AirPods on, it connects to like my phone instead of my computer laptop, like my work laptop, and I'm just like, oh God, okay, here we go.
Especially
So
for
I have to
meetings.
turn Bluetooth off. Yeah. Right. It's no, those are handy. I can't blame you. I think that's a smart choice. It's a good backup too, because if you don't have juice and whatever, if you're gonna use something wireless, then there you go with the wired one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all for me. I don't have any news. It was a boring week for me.
Same.
Didn't see any crazy news, so
Yeah, same here.
yeah. But you actually moved, and how do you like your new place?
Oh, we love it. Yeah, it's great. It was a good upgrade from the previous one, and the move obviously was no fun, because it's like
Of
the
course.
worst thing ever. But it was still worth it. The we like really like the place. We've already met some other dog owners, so we've taken Augie to the park, and yeah, the area is really nice. The complex has like really cool amenities, the pool,
You're closer
gym.
to the world. You're not like out in the outskirts of
Yeah,
nowhere.
I know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's yeah, we're really liking it and things are coming together. We're still clearing out like the old place because we had a little bit of an overlap, but
That's nice.
yeah, we're still, bringing everything into this one. Oh, it's pouring right now.
Oh no.
And
Of course.
and yeah, and then just like, placing, we got a couple of like items from IKEA that we thought would be a good choice. So just for like organization. So yeah, once, everything is built and all of that, yeah, I'll be, happy to like do a little tour and share with you like you did with your place.
Yeah,
But right now it's
please.
just boxes everywhere. Really, it's
What's your
just
favorite
boxes.
part about the new place?
Um, I mean, I love the apartment, like the layout and, like I'm so like into the fixtures that they used for the apartment, like the faucet in the kitchen, in the toilet, in the bathrooms.
Mm-hmm.
We have,
It's
it's
brand
kind
new,
of like a
right?
wood. Yeah, we're the
Yeah,
first people to live in here. I think
it's the
that that's
best.
my favorite part. We're like the first people to live here. And we have wood flooring throughout most of the apartment and then just in the closets in the bedrooms. But it's great. Yeah. We also live on the top floor now, so we don't have, neighbors above us because our previous ones were a little
How high up are you?
loud. Just for the fourth floor.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, and Augie loves the balcony because we used to have a
Mm-hmm.
balcony in our first apartment, not this previous one, but right now we live on the fourth floor, so he gets to like look down and watch other dogs walk by and cars and people, so he likes that.
Oh, did you end up getting the IKEA tiles?
Oh yeah, so that's what we're actually we wanted to get like the tiles like you showed me and then also some of the grass ones, but I think the grass ones are out of stock now because we wanted to do like an alternate pattern.
Mm-hmm.
But we're definitely gonna pick those up. Yeah, for sure. That's on the shopping list or whatever. Eventually we're gonna get that done.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hot now though. Like he can only stand being out there for like 5 to 10 minutes because the balcony like the surface itself gets really really hot, so even he can't step outside if it's like noon.
Mm.
So I'm sure that with the tiles it might not be as hot, but it'll still be pretty hot. But then once the things start to like cool down, I'm sure that we're all gonna go out there and enjoy it more and more.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're excited for that. It's nice redecorating.
Yeah, it's really cool, like
It's fun.
restarting and like trying to do new things.
Yep, exactly.
All right. Well, that's enough interior decorating with Victor and Anna.
IKEA sponsor us.
Oh, right. Yeah, imagine. That'd be the best sponsor
That would be
ever.
nice.
Looks like I'm already
That would
sponsored by
be.
them. I only have IKEA in here. Desk,
Yeah, we
chair,
have a lot of
couch.
their furniture.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us once again. And we'll see you in a week. Who knows what we're going to talk about? But whatever it is, be prepared for a mega awesome good episode. So peace
Yeah.
and have a good week.
Have a Django weekend.
Take us out, Django. Oh, wait, it's not working. Oh, forget it. Okay, bye, guys.
Bye.